You've probably called someone a narcissist. Your ex, your boss, that one family member who turns every dinner into a performance about themselves. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people using that word have no idea what it actually means. Today, we fix that. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where self-absorption ends and where a genuine personality disorder begins. Welcome. This is Stickman Psychology, where we break down complex psychological topics into clear, practical knowledge. If this is your first video, subscribe and hit the bell. We publish every week, and this series goes deep. What does narcissism actually mean? The word narcissism comes from Greek mythology. Narcissus was a young man so captivated by his own reflection that he couldn't pull himself away. Beautiful story. But modern psychology has stretched that image into something far more specific and far more serious. In clinical terms, narcissism describes a pattern of thinking and behavior built around three core pillars: an inflated sense of self-importance, an intense need for admiration, a significant lack of empathy for others. Here's the key distinction most people miss. Narcissism exists on a spectrum. Every human being carries some narcissistic traits. It's actually essential for a healthy self-image. The problem begins when those traits become rigid, extreme, and start causing real harm to the person themselves and to everyone around them. That threshold, when it's pervasive, long-standing, and causing serious impairment, is when we're looking at Narcissistic Personality Disorder, or NPD, a recognized clinical diagnosis in the DSM-5. 3 big myths debunked. Let's deal with the 3 biggest myths about narcissism, because getting these wrong makes it nearly impossible to recognize the real thing. Myth 1. Narcissists love themselves too much. This feels obvious, it even seems logical, but it's actually backwards. Most clinicians and researchers now believe that beneath the arrogance, beneath the grandiosity and the constant need for validation, is a fragile, often deeply wounded sense of self. The hunger for admiration isn't confidence. It's a mask, a way of keeping unbearable feelings of shame and emptiness from breaking through to the surface. This is why narcissists often react so explosively to even mild criticism. A genuinely confident person can absorb feedback without their world collapsing. A narcissist frequently cannot, because their entire sense of worth depends on what others reflect back at them. Myth 2. You can spot a narcissist immediately. The loud, boastful, everything is about me type. That's overt narcissism, and yes, it's relatively visible. But there's another type, covert narcissism, that is quiet, introverted, and often plays the victim. These individuals can appear humble, even self-sacrificing. The control and manipulation are just more subtle, more deniable, and far more confusing to the people experiencing it. We'll dedicate a full episode to covert narcissism in this series. It's consistently one of the most searched topics in this space, and for good reason. Myth 3. It's just high confidence. Confidence and narcissism can look almost identical from the outside, but they function completely differently on the inside. A confident person can celebrate your success without feeling threatened by it. A narcissist often struggles to do that because of zero-sum thinking. Your win feels like my loss. That pattern, needing to be the most impressive person in the room, is one of the clearest behavioral markers of narcissistic dynamics, and we'll come back to it throughout this series. When does it become a disorder? So where exactly does narcissism stop being a difficult personality and start being a clinical condition? The DSM-5 identifies 9 diagnostic criteria for NPD, things like a grandiose sense of self-importance, preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success or power, a belief in being special and only understood by other special people, a consistent pattern of exploiting others, a lack of empathy. A formal diagnosis typically requires 5 or more of those 9 criteria, assessed by a licensed mental health professional. But more important than the count is the impairment. Does the behavior cause significant distress? Is it showing up across multiple areas of life, relationships, work, family? Has it been consistent over time? If yes, that's the territory of disorder. And here's something worth holding on to as you watch this series. You don't need a diagnosis to recognize harm. Even subclinical narcissistic behavior can cause serious, lasting damage. Understanding the patterns is how you protect yourself, and it's exactly what we'll build across these videos. In the next video, we're breaking down the types of narcissism: overt, covert, malignant, and communal, with clear, real-world examples for each one. If today's video gave you any clarity, share it with someone who might need it. Questions? Drop them in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video.